Okay, good. Yeah, I think we're up. We're live. Let's get rolling. This is the Meshery development meeting for Wednesday, August 6th. And I think this week my speakers are working, so that's good. Let's take care of a couple of housekeeping items. I'm taking this link here, putting it into the Zoom chat. So please add your name to the Google Doc. By the way, there's a shorthand for referencing the meeting minutes, should you ever need to get to them quickly. Like a couple of core team members who don't have meeting agenda items that need to get to the meeting minutes quickly, they can reference this short link, meet.meshery.io/meeting minutes. Boom. Convenient short link to minutes. And there it is. Does this work? Click. Oh, it does. For 2,000 points, who can tell me the short link for the Zoom meeting?
We have the link in that Google Doc, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's certainly convenient to have up there. That could be a way of cheating and getting the answer. Ooh, right here. Ooh, ooh. What is the short link to the Zoom
Calendars.
meeting? Oh, Naman. Say it again.
The layer 5 calendar meet.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's pretty convenient. Yeah, speaking of, there's a couple of them that are right at your fingertips. And by the way, all of you have been a newcomer at one point or another. Some of you might be newcomers right now. These are really helpful references for you to offer to others as they come through and they're trying to figure out how to get connected and where to meet up. Yeah, these point people to the community calendars. They have some of the same meetings and some of them are different. Recently, the CNCF TOC chair asked us to move off of a Google calendar to this LFX Insights calendar. I don't know if you can subscribe. This kind of looks like a subscription. Actually, it looks like a subscription. It doesn't, I don't know. It does it. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure if it is a subscription. We had a subscription when we had the Google Calendar. So, and you want to subscribe because, we occasionally put, like, we're going to have release readiness meetings coming up for our .9 release. And we'll be putting on additional meetings to go over that and talk about roadmap for 1.0, which will be pretty exciting. So you'll want to subscribe. I'm sorry that they took away our toys. The other link here does have a subscription. This is the Google Calendar that I was referring to. It has the newcomers meeting on it as well, since it's hosted by Layer 5. This yellow button, this is a subscription. This is the magic button right here. This is what time? I thought we were meeting. No one's on the meeting. Well, that's because time zones are hard and you should subscribe to the calendar so that Google does that hard part of converting time zones for you. Do this. And for all of you that have been here longer than a week, please share this with other people who join the community, those that join the Slack. This is really helpful. That way folks don't miss they don't miss any funny jokes that get told on meetings like this one. So, All right. So do we have everybody that's on the call listed in the meeting minutes? Got about 20 people on the call. I don't see Ijoma's name in here. Hmm. Shashank is with us, and Naman and Matthew. Nikita, we've got Ved on the call, but not represented. It's so important that you guys get represented. Does anyone know why it's so important to have your name in the meeting minutes?
It marks your attendance for the meeting.
Yes, yeah, it does. That's for sure. Jason is with us, but he's being shy. Hasn't put his name in just yet. Uh, why else is it important to put your name into the meeting minutes? Ved doesn't even bother capitalizing his name. It's not a pronoun or anything. Why else is it important? Does anyone know? Oh no. Zahan, do you know?
Mark your presence, I guess.
Yeah, that's good. That's correct. That's true. That's what Varad said. Zahan, go ahead.
And the one who presents most can win like a big dollar, big amount of
Nice.
dollar.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Oh, and Nikita said it, and Naman said it. Zahan has got it as well. That's right. Once a year, come toward the end of the year, we put all the names into a virtual bucket, and we put in your name as many times as it's been in the meeting minutes, and then we figuratively pull the name out of the hat, for a random for a prize, $1 million. And then usually what happens is right around that time we go on vacation as well for Christmas. And so sometimes we don't hand out the million, which, the good part about that is that the next year it's like a $2 million pot. So Meshery is a little over 5 years old and the pot is up to 5 million because we've never given out the $1 million. But keep adding your name in and maybe it'll happen. All right. Is there anybody that's on the call that's brand new, hasn't been on one of these meetings before? And that's always such a tough question because you're already not sure what to expect sitting on the call. I think everyone, oh wait, yeah, Harak, yeah. If this is your first time on the call, do you just want to say hi to everybody and introduce yourself real fast?
Yeah, so myself, Kashyap. So I've been on the
Hey,
call
wait, Harak,
previous week also.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Can you slow your first name down for me real quick? Say it again.
Yeah, so myself, Hirak Kashyap, if I'm
Hirok.
audible.
Yep. Very good.
So yeah,
Hirok.
I've been on call previous week also, but yeah, somehow it just got shut down so quickly. So currently I am in the final year undergrad at IIT BHU pursuing electrical engineering. And yeah, so I have already attended the newcomers meeting one time before this. But yeah, this is my first meeting for the development of the machine.
Cool. All right. Yeah, good to have you. Hirok. Good. I'm glad that I asked you to repronounce your name because I was going to go with Hurok, um, which is different than Hirok. Okay, good. Anybody else?
Yes, I am also for the first time here.
And me too.
Oh, nice. All right. Yeah, you guys want to, Ved, you want to go first and say hi and introduce yourself?
So, hello everyone, I am Ved Prakash and I am currently third year computer science student and I like open source and contributing to it.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, very good. Hey, just out of curiosity, do you lean toward JavaScript or toward Golang or toward maybe some DevOps, some
Uh,
sysadmin stuff?
yeah, I am more towards the JavaScript.
Yeah. All right. Very good. And then Himani, Sahu.
Yes. Hi.
Hello. Hello. You want to, yeah, just repronounce your name. So, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you actually did it correctly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm also a student at Vellore Institute of Technology, and I'm pretty much enjoying Meshery at the moment.
Nice. Oh, yeah, very good. And you are actively working on enhancing Meshery docs, I think.
Yeah, the last PR I raised was on docs, but I also worked on CI related issue, but it didn't work out.
Okay. There's another CI related issue we're going to talk. Well, there's a bunch, but we're going to talk about a brand new one today. Maybe maybe you'll have better luck with this one. So, yeah, this is great. Yeah, thanks for working on the docs. I actually, in a I think a lot of times when that's said, people think that you're like writing user-facing documentation about features or something. In this case, you're enhancing the automated publishing of Meshery's extensible permission keys. So that's
Yeah.
very helpful.
Thank you.
Yeah, good, good, good. Okay, I think we got everybody. All right, we're gonna jump on in. Um, we have a couple of standing agenda items that we go over each time that we meet. Meshery is a large project. So there's a sort of a central server, Meshery server, central Meshery UI, but there are any number of other components. There's a whole org, a whole ecosystem of Meshery extensions. And so, Matthew, I don't know, do you want to talk about one of Meshery's components, the CLI? Do we have
Yes, sure. So, like Lee mentioned, we have several components around Meshery server, and one of them is Meshery CTL, which is the CLI the which it's a tool that you can run calls against the server. So here, Lee is presenting the Google Sheet where all available commands present by the provided by the CLI are listed there. So currently, that for that file, it's almost updated. So here you can see each command, how to use them, etc. But these are also available with the Meshery CTL command using --help. So this is here. And from last week, there's not a lot of change here since most of the commands are have been done, and we have a couple of them that are currently under experimentation, but there's not a lot of work on those currently. I think that I will take a look on that part because perhaps there's some of them that are already promoted. So I will update the file for next week. And that's all for this part.
nice?
If we come back here for the test plan, currently, so for the CLI part, we are creating a test end-to-end suite currently using BATS framework, which is done with Bash. And basically, currently, there are some issues open in GitHub related to this project, which is not yet done. And one important work it is in progress is the ability to run the CLI at each pull request open. So I don't remember his name, but there is an issue where we will run all the test suite when a pull request will be open. It is not yet completed, but we are near to have it done. So that's it for that
Nice.
part.
Shashank, do you have an update on that one?
Hello. So yeah, I'm working on that with the latest comment from Matthew. I'm just working on it.
Yes, we are both working on that to make it work. And I have forgot, but the next step will be to create an issue to be able to post the result in the like we are doing for the UI currently. At the end, I think that we posting the results of each test. It's in the doc Meshery IO website. So I will create an issue to do the same, but for the CLI.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, very good. There is yeah, a couple of pages, one of them that covers the compatibility matrix. Like
I don't.
I wonder if it's let's go. Hmm. One of them is like this. These are the automated tests and the results that run for adapters. But a different one is for the playwright tests that run against the Meshery UI. And these are not prominently represented, or at least not where I would look. We might want to change this around. Integrations, end-to-end CLI tests. I bet if we look here, it might point us to where we're publishing end-to-end test status under project contributing. Zahan,
I've actually shared the link in the chat.
okay. Zahan, it might be that we should highlight this some other way.
Yeah. I'll create issue for that.
Thank you. Yeah, it might be that, well, see, like right here, if I would have clicked there, there's an arrow indicating that maybe there's more pages. I don't happen to see any. Certainly the end-to-end test status is part of our build and release process, and it is probably appropriate to show under here. That would be a good place to expose it. So yep, so there are end-to-end test status results automatically published with each like successful pull request for tests that are driven through the UI or driven using Playwright as our tool. And then Matthew is just saying for the CLI-centric tests, those end-to-end tests, which are listed here, those get, or that they will hopefully also have their test results automatically published here as well. So Matthew says he's going to open up an issue there. Maybe one of you will be helping on that. Cool. Okay. That's good.
Nothing else on my end.
Thank you, Matthew. That's great. All right. So next up, we've got a couple of announcements. There are a few upcoming internships, maybe 3 or 4, that in this case are coming through the LFX program. if anyone's inclined, for my part, I could use, I'm one of the mentors. Matthew is a mentor. Ian is a mentor. Mia is a mentor. There's a number of them, but we could use some help getting the descriptions of those internships published to our websites. There's a meshery.io, internship programs. This one is that I'm talking about is LFX. So we've got our spring projects in flight right now, and we've got a number of new ones to post. So any takers on helping with that? Nobody's willing to speak up. If you are going
Yeah.
to say,
Yes, I can help. Sir.
great. And who are you? I can't see your video or your face here.
Uh,
You have to think of your name.
no, I'm Naman Verma. Sorry, I didn't
Naman.
hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, great. All right. Thanks. That'd be helpful. A great way to work your way into an internship, actually. Thanks, Naman.
Indeed,
Okay.
I'm also interested to work in the backend side.
Okay, I couldn't understand what you said.
Indeed, I'm Shashank and I want to work in the backend side.
Okay, great. Please do. All right. Next up, we've got a number of topics that people have listed into the agenda. And so do we have Saksham here? You are up. And I'm looking in the list. I don't see him. And so, okay, let's go to the next topic. Darshan, you are up.
Yep, sharing my screen. I think I'm visible, right? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, am I audible and visible?
Hello? I don't know.
Hello?
Are you good? Darshan, you've been on the calls
Yeah,
for a while now. What do we not do on these calls?
yeah, I remember, I'm sorry. Anyways,
Hello?
so,
Hello?
am I
It's
audible?
annoying. It's annoying, isn't it? It's confusing too.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that I'm audible, so, last time that
Hello?
happened, yeah,
Yeah, I know, but we've already been over it a few times.
okay.
Hello?
Yeah, I think I'm audible. Yeah. So moving on. So the issue that I'm working on is to remove the resource list from model. Um, so in Canvas, what happens is that when we're trying to build design, when you go to components, you can look at multiple, components such as API service list and API service. I mean API version list and API. I mean, there are many list type of files which we don't need, and these are unnecessary. So that's what the issue talks about to remove these. But the main problem here is that in the integration file, which shows all the models, components, and the relationships of each models, these they have added new field called status recently, which basically can be enable or ignore certain files that we want or we don't want. So here currently the files which we don't want are labeled to ignore, but Meshery is not able to, honor this new change. And every file is being hard-coded to enable. So to fix that, I opened up two issues in Meshkit and Meshery. So yeah, so the way we can generate these models are by using Meshery registry generate. And so this is the file. This is the Go file for generating the models. And in here, the status logic is not included in this file, rather in Meshkit. So to get the clue on to how to enter and solve this issue, I went on this file, and here it imports mesh kit from Meshery. Going on to the years I made. So yeah, this is the mesh kit repository. So I made a PR yesterday regarding to this. So I've asked Nikita for a review here. I just explained what changes I've made. So basically in register component profile where the 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 downloading and the phrasing of the CSV rows of the component file is being processed. So here what happens is that the status file was already declared, but it was set to recognize false, whereas we've used ignored in our CSV file. So this is one of the issues. So I changed it to ignored here. And this is declared in both the create components and update component definition. So
Why is false? Is false not applicable?
I don't think it's not applicable because it has to be specific to the field updated in the CSV file. So I changed it to ignored.
So what are the possible values for that field?
For now, I've set to ignored. I mean, we can put disabled, ignored, or
What's
whatever we want, but then
what's the definitive source of truth for the value of that property?
ignored.
No, what's the definitive source of truth for the possible values of this property or any property of any construct in Meshery?
Yeah, I pause.
No, that's not. Just take a breath. That's not the question I'm asking. I'm saying to take a step back. If you look at any construct in Meshery, any logical entity, like a design, Meshery has designs, and we made it up as a project. So it's a construct, a logical entity, a construct, right? Software construct.
I'm not sure about that.
Okay. Okay. Never mind. Yep. Please continue.
So yeah, I changed that first. I'm not sure about this, so I changed that to ignore. So moving on to the filtering part, which is where our file or our status is being hard coded to enable is that in the file where here in component filter where the filtering of these components take place, there's some conditions to be passed on to it. So here we can specifically look at the structures declared here. This component definitions, model DD, LVDD. And so here, when there is an if statement to check for a field where there is nothing set, which means which is nothing set. So previously it was declared, I mean hard coded to enable here. And then also when we're using finder to trace through the status field, it is being again hard coded to says, and also we're using model DDs, which is not really the the right procedure here. So I've replaced that to component definition DDs where all the components are being set, and also when there is no when the field is empty in status field, which means it's enabled, and that is hard coded here in the else statement. Whereas if anything other than an empty field is set, which is ignored in our condition, this component filter status takes that in and declares it here. So that's how the ignored file is being ignored status is being set.
Darshan, let me interrupt for a minute just to make sure that you're going to get feedback.
Right.
Who's offering feedback on this? Who's following along and understands what Darshan is saying? Darshan, you were asking for Nikita's feedback?
Yeah, I had yeah.
Yeah, Nikita, you with us? Does anyone else understand? The reason I'm interrupting is because I don't think anyone understands, and I really want for them to. Otherwise, the time will just be wasted. So, who on the call can provide feedback?
I was not listening, but I will take a look later and come back on that.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Matthew. Thank you. Nikita, did you say something? It might not have come through.
No, I didn't. I didn't.
Oh, okay. Do you understand what he's talking about, or are you going to be able to provide feedback or no?
I will be able, but like I will need to take a look after the call.
Yep. Okay. Very good. Is Darshan continuing to go through this? Will that help at all, or for either Matthew or Nikita? Or do you not have the right context to be able to digest it at the moment? I'm just trying to figure out from a meeting host perspective, should we continue and should Darshan continue, or do you guys need some time to review the PR?
I will look that after meeting.
Okay, yeah. Nikita? Same.
Same, yeah.
Okay, all right. Darshan, any final?
Yeah, I'll share this in Slack. I'll link my PRs there, and then people can be able to pick up. That's it for myself.
Okay, all right. Good. Thanks for walking through this. It's good. It looks like it's involved as well because it touches, well, Meshery server. Well, yeah, Meshery server, Mesh kit, and Meshery CLI. The answer to the question that I was asking earlier, which will be key to you being able to merge, is that Meshery has any number of logical constructs, things that we have made up that make Meshery. Like any of these things under logical, these concepts, there are components that I think that you're working with to help ensure that their status is represented, right, Darshan?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, a component is just a logical construct that we've created in software.
Okay.
So too is a connection or any of the things like a design, like I was asking. Whoops. Just a logical construct that we've made up. And what comprises a design or a credential or a connection or a component or any of the things that we have made up are a variety of properties and specific characterizations on those properties. Like if you're going to create a piece of software that's a dinner reservation system, you might have like dinner tables with X number of chairs. And so you'd have a table, and that the table would have properties like chairs, and chairs might have a quantity, or like rather the table might have a quantity of chairs, things like that. So we've just done all of that for all of these. And is it in order to ascertain whether or not it's an acceptable property of a chair to be made from cherry, oak, pine, bamboo, or like various types of wood? It might not be acceptable to be made from balsa, which is too lightweight, and fat people like me just fall through when they sit on the chair. How would you know what's acceptable? That's what I'm asking you about the status. You're ignorantly moving false, and you don't know if false is an actual value, valid value or not. And I do all kinds of things ignorantly. I'm trying to prevent you from doing it, though. So how would you figure that out? How do you know if what the acceptable values are for a component status?
So as you said, I think I should go through this first of all, and then as far
Wait,
as I know,
Darshan, can you say it again, man? Your microphone sucks. I can't hear you. Your words.
um, yeah. So I think first of all I should go through this all the concepts, and also regarding your question, I think so I was basically following up on the CSV file which has a status setting. So that is all I was aware of. So I'll have to look into this that you're talking about.
Okay, yeah, that's good. I mean, that makes
Yeah.
sense. So, although that's not the answer, the first thing
Yeah.
you said, yes, great. Yes, please go study the project and understand its constructs. Yeah, good. The more that you know, the better. With that said, anyone who's on the call or listening to the live stream, you don't need to understand much about Meshery to be able to contribute. You'll gain that understanding and knowledge over time. Ahmed, did you want to say something?
Sorry, I opened by mistake.
Oh, okay. You'll gain that knowledge over time, so don't let that stop you. Don't think that you need to digest all this stuff to be able to make an impact. You don't. Darshan has been making an impact for a while, and he was just saying, oh, he's not entirely familiar with all this stuff. He's living proof. The answer to the question, or where you'll find like definitive source of what those possible property values are allowed to be, Nikita, do you want to tell people?
No, probably I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, it's in the Meshery schemas. Meshery has schemas for that outline each of its logical constructs. There is an entire repository dedicated to capturing and holding and revising, versioning and publishing the logical constructs that Meshery has, so that all of the various Meshery components that are in the ecosystem, all the various extensions, all refer to a dinner table in the same way. They understand that dinner tables have the property of like quantity, how many people, how many seats can be at the table, that for every chair, it has a property of like material, and that the enum associated, the possible values of that chair exclude balsa. They include pine, oak, cherry. If you want to know definitively what a construct is, what its skeleton looks like, and whether or not it can have 2 arms or 5 arms on its body, go here. And Ritesh, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, actually, I looked into like schemas and I found like for entity, it had like 3, 4 values like enabled, ignored, and also duplicate. I looked into it, but like I like failed badly to work on this issue, and like I was not able to do anything, and like my Darshan can take over. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, thanks for that. Well, then you're a perfect individual to offer review on Darshan's PR. Altogether, Darshan's
Sure.
PR sounds like he has been, quite considerate of like these 3 individual places that need to be enhanced. Meshery engine, Meshery server, that it has an internal deployment engine. Meshery CLI, the registration process, and how it recognizes and honors the status field. But Meshkit being the reusable area for some of that logic. And I think, Darshan, what you had said is that, one of the things that you should make sure is that we want to register components even if they say ignored. The component is still supposed to be generated.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think you did this, but I'm just repeating it just in case. We still want to generate the component, even if it has the status of ignored. We still want for the component and its model to be registered in Meshery server, even though its status is set to ignored. well, what the heck does the ignored status mean? Well, actually we can look in the docs, like hopefully it's there, but maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Another place we can look is it's saying that it'll answer maybe a couple of questions. It's in the schema for a component for that construct. So we go to Meshery schemas, the schemas folder, the constructs folder. We'll have to hunt and peck to figure out like where the latest version of the component construct is. That's the one that you're working with. You're trying to make sure that every component has the appropriate status represented. So if we go to this, the component schema, it's an OpenAPI compatible, OpenAPI v3 compatible schema. Okay, so there is such a thing in Meshery called a component, and this is its blueprint. Like defines its skeleton. Like we have thousands of components in Meshery that represent all the different infrastructure that Meshery that comprehends, and it characterizes all that infrastructure. And how do I push this? And of those various types, there's like I said, there's thousands of them. Well, they can have different statuses. Well, what are those? What are the possible values of its status? Well, hopefully we would come here, we would look through and find such a property called status. And if we don't see one, either I'm looking in the wrong place, or maybe there's a later version of the component. I don't think so. Let's see. I don't see it there. It's probably the latest component. Okay, so I guess I need to be looking in the merged OpenAPI YAML. There is a status property. It's a string. Oops. And it can have, oh, here we go. Oh, it has these. Okay. These are the accepted statuses at the moment, or supposed to be, according to, this centrally defined reference. It doesn't, let's see. Oh, it does, I think, start to explain maybe what these different statuses are, what a duplicate is. Let's see if it has a maintenance. Wait a second. There isn't a status in the enum for maintenance. Oh, but there is a description for what maintenance would be here. So there's a small discrepancy. It's like, do we want to support a maintenance mode or not? If we did, this is a description for it. Okay. Enabled. Okay. Ignored. Okay. So what the heck did ignored mean? The model is unavailable for use for all users of this Meshery server. So the component can be generated, registered inside of an actively running Meshery server, and you can look through the registry and see the component, look at its details, but it is not available to be used in a design. So it shouldn't show up in the UI in the list. And it shouldn't be allowed to be provisioned when someone deploys the design. Anyway, I hope that helps some, orients everybody a little bit. I'll drop a link in the Zoom chat to this. Any comments or questions on that? Darshan, was that helpful at all? Feedback?
Yeah, that was helpful. Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be. You got to tell me, like, I'd rather hear you say, no, that was a waste of time.
No, actually, I was looking at generated models in mesh modeling. So that's where I was confused. So I looked into this. This has more comprehensive description for all the status fields.
Ritesh,
I just have a question on what you were explaining.
Yeah, Ahmad, is your microphone by chance on your shirt or anything? Because it ends up catching a lot of wind.
No, no, it's because of the fan. We have it like it's hot right here in Egypt. But
Oh,
I close. Is the wind still
nope,
having a sound? Okay.
we can hear you.
Okay. I was just asking about when you said like components are like how Meshery interprets its parts or how we integrate parts. If do you remember the thread I was talking about earlier, or when you told me I can ask Nikita, it was about that the operator needed in one way or another to communicate with the Meshery server. Okay. So what I came up with, or like the most logical option, was that to give the operator after adding like an endpoint in Meshery server, is to give the operator like an auth token or and the Meshery server URL. So to do that, we have to change the dynamic of deployment Meshery operator, right?
I don't know. I didn't
Uh,
read what you've written, and
I'm just
it
talking hypothetically. I don't know about how. I'm not talking about how to specifically do it. I'm just talking about if we change the dynamics of deploying something.
Ahmad, let me interrupt you. Do you have anything relevant to the topic at hand to discuss?
I just meant one thing. Like, if we change the dynamic of components communication, does that disrupt like our backward compatibility? And, from the component standpoint, yeah. Like if we change one thing, will that affect like the people who already have a working workflow from the user standpoint? That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, yes is the short answer. Like, and as PRs like the one that Darshan has come through, yeah, it has to be given holistic consideration. Like it, um, so without explaining for another half hour, like yes is the concise answer.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And that's our biggest area for bugs are regressions. A regression is when something used to work and then doesn't work anymore. We get that's our biggest source of bugs, and that's what Ahmad is pointing out. Is like if you make a change in one area and you're unaware of its effect on other components or other aspects of the project, then we end up with mud on our face. Ends up being an embarrassing moment because we've broken a different area. So the tests that Matthew was referring to earlier and that test plan, these end-to-end tests are very important and helpful to understanding like, well, I don't know, Lee just said we didn't have to understand the whole Meshery project to be impactful. And yet Ahmad also pointed out how if you make a change in one area, you could break something somewhere else. So then how am I supposed to contribute? Like, well, these tests really help with that. They go through and test most of Meshery's functionality, not all of it. We need help. That's part of what Matthew was saying is go talk to Matthew or go jump on those issues to help make sure that we have full test coverage. And those tests are like a warm blanket. Okay. Hey, next up, we've got Zahan. Zahan, you've got a couple of topics.
Yeah. So first, I finished the guide for building certification. I add the definition for certification and add this step-by-step instruction and for FAQ section. Yeah, so now it looks like this. The certification, I add a definition that is a formal assessment designed to validate the learner's professional skill in a specific domain.
Nice.
And to differentiate from the other two, I made a table here. So certification is more a series of exam and it doesn't give some prior. It doesn't teach you on something. It just validates on something. So here's the step-by-step how to create your certification. First, set up your directory structure. It's basically the same as learning path. Yeah. And I introduce the certification difference matter. And for the detailed one, for quiz and test, I add a link to integrating assessments in the academy. They're basically all the same type, so they have the same front matter. Yeah, and for the learning outcomes, we have badges and certifications. I didn't find any images about the official certifications now, but based on Abbott's clarification, I guess what we mean, we might have a paid certification in future. This means the content creator doesn't need to pay for the content, but the someone who learned this will pay to get the certification. Is that the right clarification for that? Or the content creator also need to pay for publish their own certification?
Nope, the former.
Oh, yeah, okay. Then that's right. And there are some frequent asked questions like, can my certification only have one exam? And what is optional means? And
You mean
yeah,
one attempt? Do you mean one attempt in the first FAQ? What's the answer to the first FAQ?
yeah, you can.
Oh, I see. When you use the word exam, do you mean test? Are you talking to the content creator or are you talking to the person taking the test?
I'm talking to the content creator.
Okay, then I don't know what an exam is. Is there a type called exam?
We called all the assessments under the certification called exam.
Oh, okay. Huh, okay. Got you. Okay, you can include multiple independent exams if you, okay, got it. Thanks, I didn't know.
Yeah. So
That's looks
the,
good.
yeah.
Nice. Yeah, there's a whole brand new page with tons of info, all made overnight. Ooh, nice. Well, good. Well, hopefully we'll have so there's a Meshery, a mastering Meshery learning path out there that is user centric. And some of us on the call are users of Meshery. Some of us are contributors to Meshery. And so, and I wonder if we shouldn't have a learning path for mastering contribution to Meshery. That might be a really good thing to have. People, there's a lot of folks that could earn a badge, even take a certification on it.
Yeah.
That could be, yeah. I don't know. We might need some help though. So if you're on the call and you think that that's a good idea, you know who to go talk to. Not me, but to Zahan. And don't do it privately. Do it publicly. Cool. Okay. Zahan,
Yeah, and the next thing, based on Abed's suggestion, I changed the copy link to the badge. So now I use the global use copy to clipboard hook, and I also moved the icon to the last position. Yeah, so now it works properly. We click on that. Okay, something wrong with my video. It works properly. Yeah.
nice. Yeah, probably just the full screen is messing you up, I'm guessing. Or maybe not. Or the great firewall of yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, cool. Well, yeah, that's great. So you're enhancing the way that people can post or give a link to a badge that they've earned. So that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Does anybody? Oh, Nikita says you might just need to refresh the page. It might help.
Oh.
Maybe.
Yeah, I have noticed similar issue with the images. Like I think some
Yeah,
GitHub
and
have some
besides that,
short-living
I
portable.
I also update the Academy weight schema. So now it's I update as a new numeric value to determine the display order. A smaller number appears first, and if not specified, items will be sorted alphabetically by title. Yeah.
Nice. Oh, okay. Hey, speaking of schemas, so Darshan and Ritesh and Ahmad and everybody else, we were just looking at, well, we were just in here, right? This is the Meshery schemas. So yeah, and how important it is to have accurate descriptions. This is really helpful. You guys, I don't know if anyone was paying, some of you were paying attention, but in the description for the component status, there was this maintenance like mode that was described, but it wasn't in the enum. So that discrepancy
Yeah,
is like,
I will open an issue and like gets make it like a good for the first issue maybe.
yeah, well, it won't be because if you don't know how to do it, someone coming, you're beyond like, so please open up the issue and I'll,
Yeah,
and people will help clarify, like it should probably be made, it's not supported currently. So probably we should make a draft for like V1 beta 2, like, and include that in the enum in the like draft for the next version. Something like that. Nice. Okay.
Yeah,
All
and
right.
that's all from my side.
That's great. Anybody have questions or comments for Zahan? Does anyone interested in tossing in time to create the mastering Meshery contribution learning path?
I could help Zihan.
Yeah, Rod, nice.
I
And
would also love to help if I can.
oh yeah, nice, very good. Yeah, there's well, we would also create a new badge for that, and there's a whole rash of recent training, contributor training that's like perfect for this content, for this learning path. That contributor training, by the way, it's a great reference. We should probably always have it referenced, but I think you'd find it under meshery.io/community. One of the resources there, yeah, contributor training is out there. And so, yeah, that's great material for such a learning path. Yeah, nice. Oh, there's Zahan's name. Look at that. Oh, okay. Huh. Okay. Well, good. Well, hey, we're right at the top of the hour. We didn't make it quite through all the agenda. Does anybody have items that they need, that they're blocked on, that they need assistance on real fast?
I had one doubt related to that same PR about that resource list. Like like in the picker we see like components and that has configuration related to like alpha version, alpha 1 point something. So it's using that version. But when we like generate, it will like generate a beta version, right? And like how it will, if that has an status of ignored, how will that be used for like the UI? I had that down.
Yeah, there's probably a couple of questions in there. That the first item is, I don't know that there's a valid reason. There's only one valid reason I can think of that where Meshery should continue to refer to a V1 alpha 1 or an alpha anything for components. Because it has been some time since the project has moved forward to a beta version of the component, the schema for components. So V1 beta 1 is the version that we were just looking at a moment ago for the components construct. If you're seeing a reference to an alpha version of the components, that could be a problem. The only reason we should be referencing it would be to the extent that when you're importing a design, if you made a design a year ago or a year and a half ago on an older Meshery version, and you want to import that into a newer Meshery server, well, we would want to facilitate the upgrade or help make that a smooth transition. So it makes sense and it's valid to have reference to alpha components, alpha level. But if you're seeing reference outside of that, that's probably wrong or probably needs to be updated to beta. The second part of what you were saying is, let me maybe show that real fast if I can. And that is that, like, hey, of those statuses that we have between like ignored, duplicate, and enabled.
Maintenance.
Yeah, the maintenance.
Maintenance.
Yeah, like that was a question. It's like, well, it's not actually supported. It's just listed in the description. And so, how do those statuses display how are they realized and displayed to users? Here, I'll just give a quick example. When you go to into a Meshery server, you go to its registry, is a long list of all the models that have been registered into that particular Meshery server. And there's about 300-ish or 355, I guess. Each model will have any number of, well, different model versions, but inside of that model, maybe different components. And some of these components look duplicated. And I'm sure that they are. That's a valid situation to be in. That's in part why we have the duplicated status for a component. There's a long explanation as to why it's valid to be duplicate. So this switcher is supposed to help us navigate that, and it's supposed to view all duplicate entries. So it's supposed to hide anything that is not duplicated. So anyway, that's one of the ways that component status is represented and dealt with, and the experience that people have with it that's duplicate. If it's like ignore, well, ignore as a status is also supported in the UI at the model level. So if I just went back up to this model for all 53 components, the model has a status. It supports enabled or ignored. I think similar to the components. If you and I work in the same area and we decide, hey, nobody should use SageMaker here, we don't use that service. We do something else. Then, hey, let's stop showing this to people. Let's stop showing this model to people. Let's just go ahead and mark this one as ignored. You'll still see the model here in the registry. It's still a registered model. Meshery still understands these components, but the components themselves, so you should still see the registry. If I refresh the page, let's just make sure. Go to the registry. AWS, SageMaker, okay. Here, my component. Well, yeah, like this is another example of how the status affects the UX. That's the other part of what you were asking, right?
Yeah, if we see like a Kubernetes search here, like for Kubernetes, it will show the alpha version, and also I had this doubt, like this enabled and ignored status for model. Like I saw the piece of code where like the status of model is like inherited, the status of component is inherited by model. So if the model is enabled, component, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question. That's a great thing to highlight in context of this whole discussion, and that is that as we build out Meshery, one of the sort of computer science concepts, if you will, or like just a concept that we need to be aware of and and put to use is what Ritesh is pointing out around inheritance, which is to say, hey, if I have a collection, if I have a model and it's a collection of components, if I disable this or set it to ignored, should I still be allowed to interact with these? Like, shouldn't that status then maybe propagate down and be inherited by its components? Yeah. And like, I don't know that we're dealing with that well, but yes, the status of the parent construct, the model, should propagate through the components. Now, the reason that so that's relatively straightforward to implement. The reason that things start to get a little dicey, is, well, there's maybe you're like, this is enabled. Okay, fine. So all 53.2 components are enabled. Fine. Wait, except we don't like this one. So just for this one, we want this component to be ignored and ignore inheritance, like override. So yeah, so that should be fairly standard. That should be the case for a lot of different things that Meshery does, is like allow you to specify something at the top level, that property be inherited, but also the ability to override it at a lower level.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Actually, I'll give one more example of how that inheritance and overriding type, that ability is manifested in Meshery. There's a very important construct in Meshery called a workspace. It is just like a Google Drive. So you can make as many workspace. You can create a Google Drive or make my shared Google Drive workspace. All right, fine. So now I've got some more space. What does it have inside of it? Let's see. Well, it could have designs. It could have views. It could also allow different teams of users access to it. It could be associated to different environments. I just made it so it has no designs, no views, and no other teams have access. So what I'm trying to demonstrate to you all is to say that concept of inheritance and overriding, let's say that I go into this workspace, it has 21 designs. Maybe at a workspace level, I have said that there are two teams, groups of users that can access this workspace. In this UI, I don't know if it's evident what those teams are. I don't think that we make that evident here. But maybe there's someone like Ritesh who'd like to access one of these designs. His user isn't in these teams though. Well, all users that are in one of these two teams get access to all designs automatically. So they get that permission inherited. We can override that for a specific person and say, well, even though they aren't part of the team, let's just go ahead and break through that, override that, and give permission to Ritesh specifically, even though he's not part of the team. So I'm just giving you guys another example of where this concept of inheritance and overriding and manifests itself inside of Meshery. I hope that helps. Good. We're way over time. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you all. And some of your agenda items we weren't able to make it to. So if you are blocked or you're not getting a review on your PR, or you'd like to help with the readiness of the .9 release, or between Slack and the discussion forum, those are probably your two go-tos. Outside of that, we have our newcomers call tomorrow. So I would be there or be square, I guess. Good. Okay. Well, hey, I appreciate everyone hanging out as long as you have, and we'll catch you guys later. We'll see you next time. Bye, guys. See ya.